So the TERFs have basically won. I think that's about time to just say it. And I say this because their argument, not only was it obviously factually true, you're not a real woman, you have no eggs, you have no... Can't do the whole copy pasta, but the argument was always going to...
We should have got the Joe Biden AI deepfake of it.
But it's always going to be lost. But they, I don't think, have any ability to lose even in the political sphere. At least in the UK. And in which case, if we win this here, well, not us, but the TERFs win it, that argument, well, then I don't see why it won't spread to the Anglosphere. So good news, folks, I suppose. Weird way.
The thing is, it's hardly like... It doesn't feel like a very significant victory. What was the argument? Well, the definition of woman. Adult, human, female. It's like the dictionary definition since the dictionary was written.
Yeah, but at least the fad will be over in 5 years.
Yeah,
and what everyone predicted, which is we'll look back at it with horror. I mean, that will be true.
Actually, I think it'll be comical. I don't know,
man.
The definition, the arguments about the definition will be comical. Of course, the things that happened after it will be horrific.
Yeah. So just to mention something, of course, I've mentioned the Intersectionality Origins podcast, just to get into the nub about why we ended up here.
Yeah.
So, yes, every minority group is oppressed and must join together to overthrow the majority group who are the oppressors, which includes literally anyone, which also pedophiles, which will come back around at the end of this in a weird way. I wasn't expecting. But if we go to Posey, we spoke about this previously. Yeah. It's just like Posey Parker shows why TERFs will win, and it was demonstrable, even in the... I want to call it polite society, the sanitized society of...
The progressive society.
Yeah, the in-power political parties and the arms of the state in terms of the media there were not able to make the argument convincingly even amongst themselves on question time.
Look how neat your beard was there.
It's a nice young boy.
Respectable.
Not anymore. Anyway, but it's a valid issue, of course, because if we go forward, we can just see the most recent scandal, because there's always one every day.
Yeah.
Female prison guards ordered to strip search dangerous trans Scot convict. So female prison guards were made to...
strip search a man.
Cup and balls.
Yeah.
Even though he's got balls and a cock. Anyway, they were asked if they didn't want to do it, they must submit their reasons as to why in writing.
But I don't want to lose my job.
You must put in writing why you don't want to fondle cock and balls in your job.
As a women's prison guard.
It's not really my job. It wasn't in the description anyway.
So is that the person?
Yes, this is the convict.
It looks like an 80s action hero.
Oh yeah, he's done nothing, literally zero, to change his appearance at all. He literally just hung up and said, I am a woman. I require females to strip search me. And the prison system comply.
And we joked about this years ago. Oh,
Yeah.
what you just say it then? If you just say it, and here we are.
Well, I love how you have like the occasional TikTok from some 17-year-old who's taking the piss. Yeah. He's like pissing in the girl's bathroom. And he's like, I'm a woman, how can you not prove it?
Yeah.
But no, it works as well. With the halls of power.
Yeah.
If we go to Glasgow, there was a rally there from Posey Parker and all the TERFs just being like, Sturgeon is retarded, don't want her. Mm-hmm. And one of the trans rights activists attempted to infiltrate the crowd. Spot the trans rights activist.
Yeah, I wonder.
The really tall one, perhaps, compared to all these tiny middle-aged women, which suddenly, kind of a standout.
I can't help but notice a generational gap as well.
There is definitely a generational gap. For people who don't know, the reason why it was in Glasgow is because the Scottish government decided that they would introduce a bill putting all, male rapists who say they're women in women's prisons.
Yes.
And then Westminster, the British government went, we're vetoing that. You don't have any power anymore over this because you're retarded. We can't trust you. And they screeched for about a day about how this was an English oppression.
Yes.
Until the very next day.
No, it is. It's English oppression. Deal with it.
Until the very next day when a man who was a rapist was moved from a women's prison. And
this is why we're oppressing you. Okay? This is why. To protect your women.
The entire Scottish nationalist movement very quickly shut up. There's actually, I probably should have included, there's a wonderful clip of immediately after that story. Someone goes up to Nicola Sturgeon, the leader of Scottish nationalists, and is like, so what is a woman? And she's like, well, anyone who says they are, what about in the prison system? Well, I mean, there's conditions in which...
I thought you would have included. That was an amazing clip.
Completely forgot about that. But
anyway, yeah.
And John, if you can find it, actually.
Basically, Sturgeon was forced to admit that actually trans women are only women under certain circumstances. There are circumstances in which they're not women, such as being put into women's prisons.
That's not acceptable. But we go to the next one here, because turns out that there's some more things.
Oh, hang on, John's got it. Okay. That was quick, John. Oh, it was on your own Twitter feed. Go on then.
Let's play it.
Trans women. You haven't answered that question.
Well,
That's not the point that we're dealing with
That's
here.
the question I'm
Look,
asking.
trans women are women, but in the prison context, there is no automatic right for a trans
So
woman.
there are contexts where a trans woman is not a woman.
No, there is there is circumstances in which a trans woman will be housed in the male prison estate.
Is
Because
there any
of the
context
nature
in
of the
which a
crime.
woman born as a woman will be housed in the male estate?
Look, we're talking here about trans
And I'm
women.
now asking about women born as women.
I don't think there are circumstances there, but
So it's different for trans women.
well, yes, and I'm not.
So they're not equal.
That is not that there is a risk assessment process done for trans women that takes account of the nature of the crime. Clearly, significant concern arises out of sexual crime and whether it's appropriate for them to be in a female prison or a male.
My question is,
Destroyed.
Just absolutely
Destroyed
broken.
in 4 questions.
But destroyed by herself as well,
Yeah.
in which she's literally laying out, like, of course they're separate, but equal. Anyway, we have the next link here because here's the turnout there of just all the people who turned up in Glasgow to be like, yeah, women exist. That's
Shocking.
the mass movement in the UK is that. Cool. We'll move to the next one. There was a speech given that I found of note, which was literally just someone shouting, stop lying to my children, essentially.
Fair.
She reads about her kid went to school and they started telling the kid that you can change your sex, and she's just like, that's not true, stop lying.
Well, yeah.
Completely correct.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the next one, there's also quite the reason as to why they are miffed locally, because you may remember, the day after we took away their power, because they were retarded,
Oh, yeah.
the members of the Scottish Parliament,
Yes.
the SNP members, went down to this thing, and you could see the lady there who's the politician, who's like, I stand with the SNP against our vile oppression to not be able to put rapists in female prisons.
Yeah.
And behind her is a chap with decapitate TERFs written on it as well. Moral high ground. Very moral high ground.
Very progressive.
Yeah. And then if we go to the next one, we can see the kind of opposition that did turn up to the event, which was trans anti-far furries.
Hello, fellow allies.
Do you think my point I think the TERFs have won.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my argument because
How did the BBC spin this, you know?
yeah, I mean the opposition are comical at the best of times,
Oh, yeah, because we're discussing fascism here.
murderous
Yeah.
in their optics, decapitate the TERFs. Yeah, I don't
And
think...
absolutely cringe in every other way.
Yeah, and also
come
just
on.
your argument's nonsense to begin with, but okay. These guys turned up. You can see the cat uniform. If you go to the next one, I think we can see Graham Lincoln made a response to this, which is anyone dressed like this who doesn't work at Disneyland is a nonce.
I mean, I have severe suspicions.
I don't know why you felt the need to do this with your day. You know what I keep my furry costume for?
I don't have... What?
Says this person.
Oh, right.
That's getting clipped.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
To go down to
please do.
protest and insist that we can cut off genitals of children and put them in female prisons and blah, 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 blah.
Just-
okay, whatever, man.
I'm just getting to the point where I'm just kind of anti-freedom, I think. You know, if this is where we end up, it's like this trans furry nonsense. Like, right, maybe there's something else we need rather than just freedom.
I don't know why you're anti-freedom. Like, this is brilliant. This is a fantastic use of freedom. Your opposition have dressed up as a cat, turned up with the trans flag like a moron.
I just want to present this to John Stuart Mill.
Yeah, but
I really just want to say,
Do you know-
John,
do you know
look, this
my
is what
point?
you're arguing for. You know that, right?
look, if we insist that these people can't dress like this, Carl, your opposition might look respectable.
Exactly.
Why would you want that?
There's no way that Edmund Burke would have been signing off on this.
There's my point. Let's go to the next one because there's a speaker from the side of, well, women exist. And this person had detransitioned, so they transitioned from 12 to 19.
What? And I misheard that. Say that again.
They transitioned from the ages of 12 to 19.
Right.
They were groomed. Come on.
Yes.
And this individual has now realised I was groomed and has come out and they gave a speech here in which they just mentioned that everyone I thought loved me left me immediately. As soon as they were no longer the special little trans snowflake who's part of the proletariat of the world standing up against the evil TERFs.
Yeah.
Dumped like a hot potato. Not interesting. Done playing with that toy. Gonna go play with a different toy. And they are left with the scars, literally.
That's awful.
We'll go to the signs at the movement because I just think they're funny. So if we click on the left one there, you can just go through them. Start with the first one. Men are not women.
Brilliant statement. Yeah.
Stunning and brave.
Totally agree. I mean,
Children are not lab rats with dollar signs. Stop the madness of transmutilation, sterilization. Oof.
Yep.
The next one here, we have... it's hard to read that one there, but it's basically how many more do we have to go through? And they've got pictures of, I think it's either sex offenders or pedos, who have been sent to female prisons who are clearly men in a wig. And with the hashtag keep prison single sex. I kind of love that. Because I love how you always get just, it's not real, it's a far-right conspiracy. Well, we've got the faces and the names.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want exactly? How many more? It's a good point. And the last image here, a man can't become a woman. Simple. Simple as.
I mean,
Big Baz's wife out there. Meet the wife, Susan. She's a TERF now. Loves her Posey Parker, she does. Anyway, go on the next one. Because we can see the opposition
I
signs.
don't disagree, though, but it's just like such low standard, isn't it?
That's great, though.
Okay.
You can see the...
this is a good sign.
The opposition, though, they were there with transphobia equals fascism, except they've then drawn the 3 hours and the trans colours as well.
Oh, God.
You're embarrassing. I mean, the tolerant swastika, which is what that is, is retarded anyway.
But nobody in their right mind thinks that what the TERFs are saying, as in men can't become women, is a variant of fascism. Just no one thinks that. This is deranged.
We're gonna become a union of TERFs, and then we're gonna overthrow the state, and everyone's gonna have to join our union by force. And
Also, doesn't this make like the Iranian regime anti-fascist?
Yeah, but that's actually a thing. Like, that's actually an argument in the Antifa world.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh, we support the mullahs because they're anti-fascist.
It's
because
because-
they transition gays.
It's because they're anti-American, and basically anyone anti-American
Right, okay, of
becomes
course
part
it
of the
is, yeah,
left-wing angels.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. For people wondering, that's why you occasionally see an account that's got like Iranian flag, Russian flag, Syrian flag, North Korean flag, and you're just like, what?
This is a person who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, lives in the West, is 19. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving forward, because we'll go to the next one here, in which a clearly sane person assaults a man because he has a sign that they don't like. And then after that, there's some screeching, and it's not very interesting.
Probably shouldn't actually show this video.
Now, if
so
you
I
could
know
pause
what
it there,
happens.
please, John, because that individual there then pulls up their top to show off massive scars across their chest and
And an
screams,
absence of breasts.
and screams, "I am a man."
Yes, that's what makes you a man. Having your breasts removed.
Every man has huge scars.
Yeah, well,
There.
we've
Do-
all
do
had
you
our
not?
breasts removed, have we
Yeah,
not, Callum?
it's what happens. The ladies who don't know, penis inspection day is just a cover for breast removal day, which we don't want you to know about.
Yeah.
it's a deeply
But
embarrassing thing for 13-year-old boys.
coming back to the generational difference there, I mean, how old do you think that person is?
What, the child?
Well, I don't think they're a child. I think they're like 20 or something.
Yeah,
right?
something like that.
And so maybe 17, 18 when they had the breasts removed. And it's like, I've said this so many times. I made stupid decisions when I was 18 years old. I make stupid decisions now. You know, this is such an important thing that's just going to
Cutting off your genitals.
have such a life-changing consequences for so many decades
don't know.
afterwards. And it's,
Cut off your thumbs. You want any done?
oh yeah, I'm glad I did that when I was 18. You know,
No, that's my point. It's just like,
Yeah.
what other thing on earth do you think you can cut off from your body
yeah.
that won't regrow? Do you think is not necessary? But there's no movement of people cutting off their ears or something. It's rather. I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good idea.
I know, it's just mental. Honestly, I'm sad. I genuinely feel sad for that person.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of people, as mentioned, the detransitioners, who are literally just, that's where that person may be in 2
Because the
years.
thing is, that person is so committed to their position that they have to literally be like, look, my lack of breasts means I'm a man. It's like, right, that's really terrible, actually. You know, that's actually terrible. Like and I actually feel kind of bad for trying to push them off that perspective, being like, well, not really, because that's going to really harm their mental security.
You've brought it to something, haven't you, when you got to that point?
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one here, because there's a local cyclist, Jeremy Vine over here, who noticed that in his area there's a new trans rights crosswalk.
Do you know, just a quick aside on Jeremy Vine, right? I don't know anything about Jeremy Vine, except his tweets keep popping up in my timeline since Elon changed the algorithm. And I think I support the exact opposite of everything Jeremy Vine says.
Do you interact with him?
No.
Oh, that's weird then. Usually that's
Yeah,
the
I
only
don't know
reason
why.
it pop up again.
Like, it must be other people like talking about it or something.
It's kind of he kind of bait posts, and this is one of them in the
Right.
sense of it's not bait. He's just that retarded, but it comes off as bait.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's just a bunch of things that have come up, and I'm just like, no, the opposite of that's true, Jeremy.
Yeah, I saw Glinner is getting more and more radical.
Yeah,
And
it's great, isn't it?
rightfully so, because he responded to this. So we're not
Oh,
going
that's
to
probably how I saw it.
not even going to get into the debates about the fact that this is bad for a whole number of disability reasons, for horses, for guide dogs,
Yeah.
for the fact that it actually costs more than
Yeah.
usual paint as well. I've actually written to the council about that after he lied to me in Reading. But here he mentions, Jeremy, are you aware of the faded pink, blue, and colours, our so-called map flag? The creator of the trans flag said the colours represented young boys and young girls. Why have these colours been added to the rainbow?
Great question by Glenna.
I didn't know about this. We'll go to the Redux, of course, because they have the story.
Ah, yes. My
What?
favourite TERF news outlet.
I love Redux. Yeah. What a bad word said about them. I did not know the story, because they I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the female mind, but the digging into the humans is always what's most revealing. So Monica Helms, born Robert Hodge, designed the first trans pride flag in 1999. In his memoir, More Than Just a Flag, Helms, who named himself after a fictional battle in The Lord of the Rings, described...
Helms Deep!
That's actually the reason. Yeah.
Oh, that's... Okay, fine.
Describes himself as an enlightened
Oh.
being who has been able to float between multiple worlds. Yeah,
Okay.
clearly sane. Quote, I identify as female, but I'm more of a bi-gender person, Helms Deep says. This allows my brain to float between multiple worlds, or solidly take on one role or another. Sometimes I am a man and a woman at the same time, or I can take on a change in a nanosecond.
Sometimes you need a hobby. That's what that is. You just need to get out and do something.
I can change in a nanosecond between a man and a woman, or I can be both of them at the same time. You're a TikToker. That's what you are. When narrating his childhood in the memoir, Helms details how at the age of 12 he would steal his mother's undergarments. Quote, I went into my parents' bedroom and looked through my mother's dresser drawers. I found several of my mother's cotton panties and bras, neatly stacked them in piles.
Okay.
And the girls in the shadows wanted to try them on. I wanted to try them on. When I did, I felt exciting to wear them. It goes
Okay,
on.
so it's a fetish.
Yeah, it goes on very fetishistically.
Right.
He joins the Navy. Pure coincidence. It goes on doing more and more weird things. And then there's one short story he writes about how there's a 16-year-old he falls in love with who never ages and is perfectly 16 for the rest. Yeah, whatever, we're leaving that there. And then the article mentions that there's actually a bunch of whole pedo designs. You know the symbols for pedos, they like keeping them to
What,
themselves.
like the FBI ones?
Yeah, like those things that got leaked. Anyway, there's some old designs back before the flag was made, which are all about light blue and pinks, and that's the symbols for...
As in childlike pastel colours.
Because they like to abuse children.
like these.
And there you are.
Yeah.
That's the symbols that were used. Apparently, before this person declared it the trans flag, quote, it's unclear whether Helms was aware of the
Coloration?
I can't speak. I can't say it now. Anyway, the similarities at the time, but when discussing the symbolism behind the trans flag in an interview in 2017, Helms stated that the blue represented young boys and the pink represented young girls.
Oh, right.
I-
Well, that seems innocent.
Yeah,
Nothing to worry about there.
pure coincidence, I'm sure. I didn't know this. This is the thing. And it's,
Hope you're paying attention, Jeremy Vines. This is what you're signing off on.
when they list what it's used for these days, you figure out just how bad this all is.
Yeah.
The pink, blue, and white stripes have been displayed by MI6, the intelligence service of the United Kingdom, as well as the UK's embassy in Washington. The US Smithsonian Institute of American History acquired the original flag to put in their collection in 2014.
Oh, this is historic.
And in 2021, Helms formally requested President Joe Biden fly the trans flag over US embassies, which you may remember he did.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course he did.
And now you think of it as a pedo flag. You know the whole meme of the international American pedo cult that runs the world. I mean, it's getting worse. Cause,
Did Jeffrey Epstein fly the flag?
yeah, because we get the next one here. Like, you see it brings a whole new meaning to these, like, trains. I've seen these trains in the UK, for people who haven't. Progress.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anyway,
I hate progress so much.
whole side note here, because a whole other thing happened with Posey Parker, which I found funny. Matt Walsh made everyone upset.
Yeah, Matt obviously doesn't know who Posey is, right?
Well, no, he's Matt. Pretty sure
is
they've
he?
met,
Okay.
so it's not new.
Okay.
But Matt Walsh decided to tweet out, all a man wants is to come home from a long day of work to a grateful wife and children who are glad to see him, and a dinner cooking on the stove.
That's literally it, though. He is right. That is literally all it takes for men to be happy.
But this is literally all it takes for men to be happy. We are simple. Give us this, and you'll have given us nearly everything we need. And if I don't get it again, I'm going to beat her again. is what my mind did, but I know that's not what he means. That's not what he means. I know. It's just like, all I want to do is come home to a cooked dinner, you goddamn... it's not what he means. I know.
Totally indoctrinated by feminist propaganda.
It's just the meme. Anyway, but Poser responded to that, saying, all a woman wants is to come home after an amazing women's rights rally to a devoted husband and wonderful kids. We're grateful to see her with dinner cooking on the stove. This is literally all it takes for keep a woman happy. Give us that, and that's all we need.
Oh, that's so not true.
Taking the meme.
So not true.
But if you get the next one, we got Matt Walsh, who's like, I would suggest that the number of women in the world who want to attend women's rights rallies and then come home to their stay-at-home husbands is somewhere between the realm of 0.0001%, which is a gross overestimate. But what I love is Posey responded with, who said it was a stay-at-home husband? It's kind of funny to me.
She's obviously joking around.
Yeah, but I just love the aspect of Matt Walsh being like, yeah, well, no one's a stay-at-home husband. And Posey's like, yeah, of course. what are you, an idiot? Who said he was a stay-at-home husband? Blah, blah, blah. And then she goes on to explain her life. I just found it funny. But we'll go to an end here, which, if we go to the BBC, they've had to now apologise for their discussion of Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, really? Why? What did they do?
So we're getting it in here. Hogwarts Legacy never dies. We've seen the reviews have come out, actually.
I have not seen the reviews.
All the official reviewers are all giving it 80s, 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, those Nazis.
A lot of people upset. Anyway, the BBC have had to issue an apology after they had totally a woman on from some website called The Gamer, a website for video game fans, I'm sure.
Well, Gamergate failed, so...
Yeah. Anyway, saying that it's all transphobic, and the BBC were like, oh, please tell us more. And now I've had to apologise for the fact that obviously, not being
I don't know,
neutral.
it's a great advertising campaign for J.K. Rowling, to be honest.
Yeah,
She's
imagine
like
listening
chief
to the radio.
transphobe, and her game's selling like hotcakes.
Some individual comes on.
All they can say is, well, it's a transphobic game. And people are like, yeah, we know, thanks, we've already bought it.
But you're driving in the car on the way home, and you hear it, you're like, well, I know what I'm buying.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to sell it to me.
No, I'm not buying it either. I think it's funny. We'll end that there for now. And I don't know. I just think the TERFs will win. It's
I think they
undeniable.
have. I mean, how are the crazy people going to come back from this?
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the premium articles we do, this one on the 7 Deadly Sins, with an audio track for Silver and Gold tiers from Wall Noland. If you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.